Let's be honest with ourselves. Treasure map sucks, and I'm not the only one thinking this. Apparently, 86% of over 200 voters in a poll I made the other day seem to agree with me, since Treasure Map was by far the most voted mode in One Piece Treasure Cruise that players would make changes and improvements if they had the ability to. So in this video I will present 5 ways to improve Treasure Map. Number 1. Increase the point growth per navigation level. This is actually a very big one. It actually happened before the sync first on the Japanese server, and after the sync of the scheduling and events for both the global and the Japanese servers, it just solidified for both versions. The point growth is how much of an addition the point multiplier for each specific boss gets per navigation level. In each navigation level, we are set to face 6 bosses. The intrusion battle and the main boss are the 2 that have the highest point growth and also give out the highest points for our rewards. And then the other 4 bosses are technically the mini bosses, and they have the lowest, even though equal between them, point growth and point multiplier in the treasure map. If I am not mistaken, for the mini bosses, the point multiplier at navigation level 1 of the treasure map is 1000, and then the point growth is 50 per level, while for the intrusion and main boss battles, we have the starting point of the point multiplier at 4000, and the point growth is 100 per level. Now you might think, why is this bad? Well, simply enough, you get less points per navigation level now, even if you have all of the highest point boosters than you used to in the past. This is specifically annoying for the mini bosses, because especially at the first navigation levels, they give you minimal points. To show you how pretty much annoying this is, and in my opinion unacceptable for treasure map, but it is the new standard for some reason. Landing on a coin space in the treasure map with your pawn, the Sunny Go, then we have the possibility to get more coins that way than we will from a mini boss battle after wasting our time building a team and clearing the quest. Especially if we do not have all of the new units released in the month of the treasure map we are in. Later on, the difference from the point gain between the main boss and the intrusion battles and the mini boss battles is huge. Depending on the boosters you have available, there is a possibility you are actually getting 100,000 or more points from the big battles, and then you are just getting 10 to 20,000 coins from the mini boss battles. Essentially, the points from the combined 4 mini-boss battles equal to the points you get from one big boss battle. And I know the big boss battles are technically the hardest ones, especially the intrusion, but still, since it is mandatory for you to clear the 4 mini-boss battles, in my opinion, they should also get a higher point growth. I'm not saying equal to the main boss and intrusion battles, but from 50 to 75 I think it can be definitely more reasonable, especially if we consider the fact that Bandai also increased the maximum reward threshold from 7 million points to 10 million points, even 20 million points in very specific occasions. So they reduced the point growth of the bosses, and then they increased the maximum point threshold to get all of the rewards for the treasure map, which of course means that now you need to grind more and you need to spend more time playing the treasure map to actually get all of the possible rewards without again considering ranking. And I know the point multiplier that units can provide now is adjusted a bit, because we have units that boost your point multiplier by 1.25 times. Back in the day we did not have that, it was either 1.35 times and then 1.2 times, there was no middle ground. But let's also not forget that the highest possible point multiplying booster you can get from the treasure map Sugofest also has its multiplier reduced now. So if the One Piece Treasure Cruise team actually does not like grindy events, and that's why they lessened the appearance of arena and classes, they should 100% improve the point growth in treasure map. Number 2. Better rewards. And I'm not just talking about the treasure rewards / point rewards, I am also talking about the ranking rewards and also the rewards that are available from chests in the map. Let's say I land on a chest, a rainbow chest as well, and I get a limit break ability tablet which is for side damage reduction immediately it's not a great tablet on its own, and then it is also not a great limit break ability to have anyways. You could at least add the possibility of me getting a second tablet from one chest, at least for the worst limit break abilities in the game, like the color damage reduction shield abilities, and not hunger, pinch healing, or barrier penetration, and not even a guarantee, just the possibility of me getting two, especially if we consider that leveling up a limit break ability with tablets doesn't have great rates anyway. Then of course I have to discuss about the ink pens, the rainbow ones and the simple ones. They are not that important. I don't know why they make them so rare. I personally don't really care about them, but if you want to unlock all of the moving artworks with effects in game, if we consider that they don't actually increase the power of a unit, they do not provide you anything gameplay wise, why not provide more of them? Not only through the chest in the treasure map, but also in general from the treasure rewards. They were supposed to be the specific treasure map reward, so we should be definitely getting more per month. Then, the most important reward coming from treasure map, limit break materials. They should definitely increase the amount we get per treasure map, since these materials might actually be the only reason someone plays treasure map, and on top of that, it's not really up to date getting one large limit break drink from a rainbow chest, especially if you think about how many units we get per month. And of course we also have to talk about tickets. In my opinion, more specifically rare recruit tickets. I would love to see better rare recruit ticket rewards, not only in treasure map but in Kizuna as well, but this is a treasure map video, either with the last year rare recruit or a specific pool rare recruit or something like that. A general rare recruit ticket is just pretty bad. You might even get a story unit from them, so in my opinion they should 100% make them better. To be honest with you, with the current point growth, even adding another legend ticket in the rewards wouldn't be too much to ask for. Number 3. Better boss color distribution. I know this might not apply to every single treasure map, they don't do it all the time, but especially in months where we are getting units of one color, it is so annoying to play treasure map because almost every boss has the same color, in combination with the fact that the units that have color advantage over the dominant treasure map color are limited, especially if we do not have majority of the new batch units, then treasure map and team building for that treasure map becomes a mess. And maybe I can add to this improvement by saying that we actually need to know the color of the stage 2 mini boss in the intrusion battle and of course the main boss battle, so we can actually plan our teams better. Currently, the color of the stage 2 mini-boss is not actually even mentioned or shown anywhere in the quest guide available before and during the treasure map. Number 4. Better boosted lists. Definitely can correlate this improvement to the previous one, but even if we don't, in specific treasure maps you are really dependent on recent units, and if you do not have them, then best case scenario, you are going to use another unit that does a similar thing but probably worse, which unit will at least help you clear the quest. Now what if that unit does not exist? Or what if you are supposed to use that unit in another quest and now that all of a sudden you need one replacement, it is a chain reaction and you need multiple replacements for different bosses in the treasure map. That means that if one debuff appears multiple times in different quests, you simply need a richer boosted list of units that of course can deal with a specific debuff. Let's say for example we need to deal with 6 turns of threshold in the main boss, but we do not have the new treasure map rare recruit that has the ability to help us with a specific removal. So now we need a unit to replace that treasure map rare recruit, but no unit of course removes 6 turns of threshold. The more specific the removal or the utility that the new treasure map rare recruit or generally that the new batch unit provides is, the harder it is of course to replace. And we have definitely seen that in the past. And if we do replace that one unit with 2 other units to add up to the 6 turns of threshold removal, now we might miss other utility that we actually need in the quest. and with how packed the main boss and the intrusion battles are lately, that is not really easy to do, especially because Fortnite units are actually provided that remove 1 or 2 turns of threshold. But in addition to that, they don't actually provide anything else to the team, and even though in total maybe we can say we have 10 boosted list units that can remove threshold, but 5 of them do not get special cooldown reduction at the start of the quest. The other one is the one unit we do not have and cannot use from the newest patch. 2 of the units that remove threshold might technically remove it, but not sufficiently enough for us to deal with the debuff because they can just reduce it for 2 or 3 turns, which is not enough. And then the remaining 2 units can remove it for 5, which is still not enough, but better. And now we either need to use a combination of units to remove threshold, or one unit that can remove it 5 turns and then a support, if that is even available. And this is an example, of course. In most cases you are not going to have 10 total units that can remove threshold, or even 5 that get special cooldown reduction. You might have even less. Or maybe the debuff that creates the problem is not a common one like threshold, it is another one, maybe poison slots, or super block slots, or hunger, or something more recent, which immediately will make our options even less. Number 5. Easier main boss and intrusion mechanics. I have to talk about this as an improvement because lately it is getting pretty ridiculous. In the last treasure map, where treasure map Legend Hina got released and was of course the highest booster in the treasure map, I actually had 2 of the 3 treasure map units. So I had Hina and Tasigi, but I did not have Smoker. 2 out of 3 of the treasure map Sugofest units give me pretty good chances to be able to clear everything easily. But the intrusion battle was actually so annoying and difficult that even I, with 2 out of the 3 new units, had a hard time clearing. The same counted for the ones that actually got Hina and Smoker instead of Hina and Tasigi. Mind you, for people that did not get Hina or one of the new treasure map rare recruits, it was even harder to clear. And we are talking about a simple clear here, we are not talking about farming all the way up to a certain navigation level. The reason the difficulty bar was so high was number 1, Law had a barrier that needed hits with Q slots, 4 specifically, in order to break, and then you could do damage. Then after you defeated him the first time, he revived, and he also made all of the type slots non-beneficial. Immediately, we see the glaring problem here. We cannot manipulate our slots out of Q, because now we cannot break the barrier. We cannot leave them Q, because they are non-beneficial. We cannot deal with the barrier, because it is a high amount of turns and not a lot of units in the game can deal with it. And it's not easy to deal with the non-beneficial slots debuff, because not a lot of units in the game, furthermore not a lot of units in the boosted list, can deal with this debuff. Not to mention, we had more debuffs, and we carried over debuffs from stage number 2, specifically the attack down under a specific chain and also chain down, which made it even harder to actually defeat this intrusion. It was way too hard, not a lot of players participated, not even bothered to actually make a team to defeat Law. The difficulty did not give us an incentive to pull in the treasure map Sugofest, it just gave us an incentive to not play. So it does not make any sense to me why Bandai would do that. Intrusions generally become harder and harder lately, and for a treasure map that is not good. The revive mechanic is appearing way more often than it should, and to be fair, making bosses harder in a treasure map, which is already a mode that actually is pretty grindy and annoying to players, is not going to help its case. Making intrusion battles more dependent on having the whole new batch for the treasure map from the treasure map Sugofest definitely does not help treasure map become better. It is only one of the many reasons it is becoming worse month after month. But these are just 5 easy to see ways to improve treasure map without changing the mode's core. We can definitely mention more, like for example the treasure map's duration to be extended from 4 days to 5 or 6. What is your opinion though, and what is your way of improving treasure map? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like, I would really appreciate it, and for more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, you can subscribe to the channel, it is absolutely free. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.